may this be one of the best moments of your life. You're listening to the Business Mirror podcast for a broader look on business with Senior Editor Dennis Estopace.
Good day, I'm Dennis Estopace, and our topic for today is the potential use in agriculture of unmanned aerial vehicles called drones. The journalist behind the story on drones in agriculture is Business Mirror's Jasper Arcalas. For the text version, please go to www.businessmirror.com.ph and search for Philippine farms to take flight in the future as government supports drone use. The story of that title was published in the Broader Look section of the Business Mirror newspaper on Valentine's Day of 2019. Let's get on with the story. The future of farming is in the skies, not in the stars, but in the use of what are known as drones. On a clear day above some farms and fishing sites, farmers and agriculture sector players look up for a glimpse of what lies ahead for the development of the country's agriculture sector. Unmanned aerial vehicles or drones. Indeed, the Philippines is not alone at a phase in human history when technology is fast advancing and producing machinery that could change what was once a laborious and tedious farming process to an efficient and automated one. In fact, the country has seen the entry of farm machinery that has changed various manual operations to automated ones, carabaos into tractors, manual harvesting to combined harvesters. Now, the Department of Agriculture is evaluating the potential of drones to change how farmers plant seeds, apply fertilizers and pesticides, and even monitor their crops.
Drones are the future of agriculture. Digitization is the way forward.
That was Emmanuel F. Piñol, who was the Secretary of Agriculture that time, who told the Business Mirror about the potentials of drones. The Department of Agriculture initially tried using drones in 2015. Nearly 4 years ago, the DA collaborated with the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, or FAO, to use the aerial mapping capacity of drones in pre-disaster and post-disaster assessments. The partnership was ideal since the Philippines is visited by at least 20 typhoons every year, leaving the farm sector vulnerable to massive profit losses. The use of drones has improved the DA's response time in assessing and validating typhoon damages. The technology has also allowed the Department of Agriculture to assess possible losses prior to the landing of a typhoon. These activities, according to the DA, empower the agency to make wiser and immediate policy decisions to mitigate the detrimental effects of disasters on farms and craft measures to help farmers cope with such threats.
Validating of off-damage reports used to be in paper. It was a full paperwork, so drones help us validate the veracity of reports so that we could come up with a comprehensive solution.
That was Christopher Morales, Chief of the DA Field Programs Operational Planning Division, who spoke to the Business Mirror about the positive effects of drones. Today, the Department of Agriculture's Central Office has a twin-engine fixed-wing, a single-engine fixed-wing, and a quadcopter UAV unit. These UAVs or drones have different capacities in assessing areas. A single-engine fixed-wing could cover 200 hectares within 16 minutes, while a twin-engine fixed-wing could cover 800 hectares to 1,000 hectares in 90 minutes. A quadcopter, on the other hand, could cover 50 hectares in 30 minutes. Morales said 2 DA regional offices have a twin-engine fixed-wing, while 10 regional offices have single-engine fixed-wing. All regional offices of the Department of Agriculture have a quadcopter. Morales said the Agriculture Department is planning to have its own fleet of drones, following Secretary Piñol's directive to fully utilize technology in agriculture production.
He wants the agency's rehabilitation efforts and assistance to be as quick as possible to help farmers recoup losses in times of disaster.
Part of expanding the DA's drone fleet is the construction of a technology center or a hub that would house the agency's UAVs or drones and other related technologies, Morales added.
In a way, it would be like an aerospace hub, wherein whenever you need and assess a certain area or region, you have a fleet or several units you can deploy immediately.
In fact, the DA has proposed to the Department of Budget and Management the allocation of at least 100 billion pesos so that it can buy drones for all the regions nationwide. However, the proposal was thumbed down, according to Morales. Morales added he is also studying the possibility and benefits of manufacturing drones locally, particularly if it would be cheaper in terms of cost.
The challenge of buying drones from suppliers abroad is the repair and maintenance. If there is a problem, say in the battery, we still need to go back to the supplier for the repair, which is quite expensive.
In April of 2018, Secretary Piñol indicated that the DA will explore the possibilities and opportunities that drone technology could provide to Filipino farmers. The DA sees drones as a technology that would further mechanize the farm sector and cut farmers' cost of production, according to Piñol. Such statements are being validated by various agencies that are now incorporating the use of drones in their research. These agencies include the Philippine Rice Research Institute, or PhilRice, and the International Rice Research Institute, or IRI. As early as 2014, the PhilRice has been undertaking research and experiments on the use of drones in different rice farming processes. For its part, Los Baños Laguna-based IRI has been at the forefront on the use of drones in rice farming. It started its research on the technology as early as 2012. At present, PhilRice, an attached agency of the DA, has found ways to apply drones in crop management, application farm inputs, seed planting, and even in fish feeding. All these are aimed at developing precision farming or precision agriculture in the country. Precision agriculture is grounded on the use of historical data and other valuable metrics to make farmers' crop management efficient and optimized. This type of farming is promoted as a means to adapt to the ill effects of climate change. For one, drones, through available software, allow farmers to monitor rice farming, its growth rate, nutrient content, and pest incidence, according to Roger Barroga, head of PhilRice Future Rice Farm Program. Here is Barroga.
So you can determine now if the plant has the right nutrients, if it has enough fertilizer or its growth is stunted. And this could be done over a wide scale. This is not just the farmer's eye level that is being monitored, but we are talking about 100 hectares to 200 hectares using drones, which gives farmers a clear extent of their plant status, hence rapid response to crop management.
Furthermore, drones could provide farmers with real-time information on the status of their crops, such as the height of the plants and the number of tillers, so that they could make immediate necessary adjustments to improve their produce. This is Barroga again.
There would be a faster decision making and correction action on the part of farmers. If there's a lack in fertilizer, then put more. If there's an incidence of pest, you can easily monitor the spread and make the right solution.
Crop management is being complemented by PhilRice's use of drones to apply fertilizers evenly across plants on a farmland, depending on the volume they need, according to Barroga.
The application of fertilizer would be calibrated relative to the health of the plants. If it is yellow, it would apply more. If it's green, which means healthy, then it would be less. This way, application of fertilizer is more precise and would mean lesser cost, lesser harm to the environment and health.
The PhilRice is currently testing the new drone sprayers available in the market in the application of pesticides or herbicides to farmlands. The tests began in January 2019 and are expected to end in March 2019. These tests are being conducted by the government in partnership with Davao-based New Hope Corp or NSC, the exclusive distributor in the Philippines of agricultural drones manufactured by Chinese technology firm SZ-DJI Technology Company Limited or DJI. Initial results from the experiment showed that by using drones, farmers could cut extensively the volume of pesticides they use. From the usual 160 liters of pesticide per hectare applied by farmers using traditional knapsack, the test showed that using drones they would only utilize 16 liters of pesticides, Barroga said. He added that it would only take about 16 minutes to 20 minutes for a pesticide spraying drone to cover a hectare of land compared to a day-long manual spraying duration. Furthermore, Barroga said the force created by drones in spraying from above allows the pesticide to be applied even to the unreachable parts of the plants through manual application. This makes the crops more protected from pests and other diseases. The drone sprayers are also equipped with artificial intelligence or AI. If a drone stops midway in its flight path due to emptied payload of pesticide, then it would go back to its pilot for refill, NSC founder Anthony Tan said. After refilling, the drone sprayer would go back to the point where it stopped and resume applying pesticide, according to Tan. Hence, it avoids overlapping application of chemicals on crops, Tan added.
This is something humans cannot do. There is a huge reduction in the margin of errors in the risks of pesticides application. Farm laborers tend to forget the last spot they sprayed once they run out of chemicals. Plus, they could easily get tired due to climatic conditions in the field.
The use of agricultural drones could also allow farmers to spray pesticide during midnight or wee hours to prevent the attack of pests that usually appear during these hours, Barroga said. According to Tan, one of the biggest benefits of drone technology to the farming sector would be the reduction in health and environmental risk of some practices, such as pesticide spraying.
Farming has so much hidden costs. The price of human spraying is not just 300 pesos per person, but much more than that, and should be even more due to the risks and hazards that they face.
The Erie bought agricultural drones to keep their workers away from health hazards posed by manual spraying and to lessen environmental harm. Today, their former workers who used to wear knapsacks to spray pesticide in the field are now pilots of agricultural drones. Both Phil Rice and Erie said drones also provide a more even distribution of seeds across farmlands and use way lesser labor time. Initial studies of field rice showed that through manual broadcasting, farmers spend around 2 bags to 3 bags of seeds, which is about 50 to 60 kilograms, Barroga said, noting that the drone uses only 1 bag of seeds or about 20 kilograms.
The planting is even. There is no overlapping and the spacing between seeds is ideal. Furthermore, because the seeds are being propelled, the seeds are planted deep enough not to be eaten by birds.
The field rice is now also conducting experiments on the use of drones as a fish feeder to solve overdistribution or uneven distribution of food in ponds, according to Barroga. He explained that at present, fishermen who own a small pond just broadcast their feeds, resulting in the concentration of food in only one grid. He said this leads to competition among fishes in the area to get food, which is unhealthy and could lead to deaths of smaller fish. The same is also observed in bigger ponds wherein fishermen use boats to traverse and broadcast feeds across the area, according to Barroga.
With the use of drones, the feeds are evenly distributed and hence, fish would not have to compete to get food.
According to Tan, the current market cost of a drone is not advisable for individual and independent farmers to purchase on their own. At present, a UAV costs between 800,000 pesos to 1.2 million pesos each. Furthermore, buying your own drone would also entail training and securing a license from the government to operate one, Barroga explained. These additional procedures might not be viable for majority of the country's aging farmers who are averaging 57 years old. However, Barroga proposes that the ideal purchase and use of drones would be through organized farmers groups or cooperatives. In this way, the cost of purchasing a drone would be shared among farmer members and the capacity of the technology could be maximized.
We recommend the use and purchase of drones through cooperatives, especially those who with areas of 100 hectares to 200 hectares. This is also our recommendation even to non-cooperatives such as local government units.
At an estimated price of 1.2 million pesos, a cooperative that would purchase a drone could have a return of investment rate of around 3 years, according to Barroga. He added that farmers could also tap the drone leasing or servicing market. Roger Barroga said it would be more efficient if farmers, whose lands are adjacent to each other, would avail themselves of drone servicing altogether to maximize time and effort.
That's the way to go. They don't have to be an organized group. They could just be an independent small farmers in a huge area that can be serviced by the drone. The cost of tapping drone service for pesticide spraying is about 850 pesos per hectare, while the cost of hiring laborer would be 350 pesos per person. But you would need at least 2 or 3 people to cover a hectare of land. That would be about 1,000 pesos.
Barroga said the cost of tapping a service drone and hiring farm workers to do manual spraying is just the same, but efficiency is way different. Erie Experiment Station Senior Manager Teodoro Correa Jr. said he supports Barroga's proposal. Correa added that renting out a drone among members of a cooperative is the most viable way to maximize the technology's capacity. Nonetheless, just like smartphones, the price of drones in the market is expected to become cheaper in the future as market competition gets tighter, Correa said. In contrast, as the equipment becomes more affordable, it gets more advanced in terms of its features and capabilities, he added. Such was the experience of a farmer in Nueva Ecija. Barroga said a tech-savvy rice farmer named Ver Garcia recently tapped a drone service provider to apply herbicide on a 7-hectare farm, 3.8 hectares of which belongs to him while the remaining area is owned by his relatives. Barroga said that Garcia paid about 700 pesos per hectare for the use of the drone. Barroga describes Garcia as a risk-taker, being one of the early adopters of the technology. Tan's company currently offers servicing works to farmers interested to use or incorporate drones in their farming.
There is not one innovation that is potentially more formative and impactful than drones, whether you are looking at it from a mechanization perspective or another.
So believes Tan. After working for 24 years in a consultancy firm selling analytical products, Tan ventured into agriculture when he discovered the farming in his hometown Davao is not yet fully mechanized. In 2017, Tan attended a convention in Houston, Texas, where he first encountered drone technology. It was also the same year he founded NHC and became the distributor of agricultural drones of DJI, which is considered a global market leader in the said technology.
The gift of newer technology into agriculture is it really gets the next generation. The technology 56 years ago is not effective right now. It is evident as young people are not coming back.
Aside from farmers, drone technology advocates also want the ubiquity of UAV use to attract the younger generation back to agriculture. In their 5-hectare rice farm dubbed Future Rice in Nueva Ecija, Barroga said a lot of college students, most of them are into information technology and engineering, are taking their on-the-job trainings. The Future Rice, which was established in 2014, seeks to attract people, especially young ones, back to agriculture through sustainable farming using high-end technology, clean, green practical, and smart farming practices.
Technology is the magnet that pulls them back to agriculture, because they discover agriculture is very complex and there are a lot of problems, but there are solutions available through information technology.
Erie scientists echoed Barroga's statements and added that opportunities in other industries and fields are more attractive to the youth than those offered by the agriculture sector.
Nobody would like to have a knapsack on their back and walk in the mud for a day just to spray pesticides. It is really practical for the youth to move away from agriculture and get a white-collar job. Mechanization and drones definitely will attract youth in the agriculture.
Erie's senior scientist Sudhir Yadav told the Business Mirror. The FAO recommends that governments craft guidelines to improve the adoption of drones in agriculture. The FAO noted that the lack of such could push away the young generation in going back to farming.
UAS, or an unmanned aerial system for agriculture, could be a magnet for educated youth in developing countries to develop service enterprises based or at least operating in rural areas, thus generating job opportunities and improving agricultural production and farmers' returns on investment.
The FAO said in its publication titled E-Agriculture in Action, Drones in Agriculture, published in 2018.
As the industry is fast developing in countries where the regulations are enabling and on hold or winding down where these are too strict, expensive to comply with, or disabling, regulators should be fully aware that the impact of their decisions reaches far beyond security and privacy and could determine whether agriculture becomes a data-driven and profitable enterprise or not.
The FAO noted that some countries have banned the importation and use of drones due to lack of proper study on their benefits and risks. There are also countries that prohibit the use of agricultural drones due to the lack of a regulatory framework. In the Philippines, there is no clear-cut policy yet on the use of agricultural drones. The only existing policies refer to flight height limitations and some restrictions in flying drones in relation to security, such as the prohibition of flight of drones near airports.
In shaping their governance, there is the need to find the balance between managing the ground and air risks of UAS operations, the need for safety and privacy, and the benefits to agriculture and broader natural resource management. Hence, it is of paramount importance that CAAs, or Civil Aviation Authorities, closely interact with stakeholders in the agriculture sector in the process.
In fact, Erie launched a short course on the use of agricultural drones in December 2018 to attract young people and even other stakeholders involved in farming to venture and train people in using the technology. The short course offerings by Erie, which takes about 5 days, train people in using drones in two agricultural aspects: crop protection and crop assessment. The offerings target staff of agricultural institutions, people from the private sector, farm entrepreneurs, researchers, and anyone interested in the technology. Training in agricultural drones, however, is not sanctioned by the CAAP, nor is it regulated by any governing body or institution, according to Korea. Erie is the first institution to provide training on agricultural drones in the country. Most of the participants of Erie's first offering on agricultural drone training were people from big agricultural companies who are considering to incorporate the technology in their respective researches. The Erie has launched a series of training on drones, believing it is important to make stakeholders, particularly farmers, not just aware but well educated on the capacities and risks of the technology in farming. Erie scientists like Yadav noted that this would help spur the adoption of drone technology in the local farms. Yadav added that respective government agencies must also ensure its staff and workers are knowledgeable on the capacities of agricultural drones so that they transfer the right practice and technology to the farmers who would adopt the use of this technology. At present, Erie has at least 2 projects with the Department of Agriculture that involves the use of drones. The first one involves pest monitoring and reduction. The second project focuses more on water management in crops. Drones monitor the so-called swallowability of crops to determine necessary adjustments in the plant's water needs. Barroga said it is vital that farmers adopt modern technologies, including drones, to mitigate the ill effects of climate change to the agriculture sector.
This is the future. We have to reduce our carbon footprint, and that could be solved by having a precise application of fertilizer and other farm inputs.
Tan, on the other hand, believes it would only be a short time before farmers become risk-takers and confront the challenges in adopting new technologies such as drones.
People should realize that unless farming and farmers themselves take an alternative view on what farming should be in the future, kids won't go back to farming. I think we should rearrange the furniture a little bit. What we are doing right now is unsustainable for people's health and environment.
For then Agriculture Secretary Piñol, the impact of drones on agriculture would be revolutionary.
Digitalization, drones, satellite monitoring, and GPS-guided precision farming. These are the new words in the agricultural vocabulary.
Only time will tell if the promise of agricultural drones will hold water or stay afloat in the skies like most good ideas do.
Thank you for listening to the Business Mirror podcast. For a broader look on business, follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Business Mirror. Until next time.